Start at a furnace mouth where rock learns language, or glows, slag weeps, and a smith reads color the way a priest reads stars. Episode 1 tracked ships and seals. Episode 2 tracked calendars in stone. Episode 3 follows heat because bronze is time management you can hold. Capture energy now, release strength later. Repeat with precision. Tap like if a civilization's IQ measured in furnaces amuses you, and subscribe so the next temperature rise hits your feed on cue. Copper is easy to meet and disappointing alone. It bends, dulls, sulks. Tin is rare and flirtatious. Mix them at roughly 1 part tin to 9 parts copper, add forced air, and you get a material that keeps an edge and forgives the worker. That forgiveness is the point. Good alloys widen the circle of competence. A better blade lets average soldiers cut like veterans. A tougher chisel lets builders shape harder stone without heroic wrists. Bronze is a social technology. It spreads skill by upgrading matter. Scarcity writes the map. Copper pops up across Anatolia, Cyprus, the Levant, Oman's highlands called Magan, and the Iranian plateau. Tin hides like a rumor. Central Anatolia in small seams. The Taurus, the Zagros, eastward toward Bactria and beyond. No single core controls both inputs at scale. That constraint forces networks. Caravans stitch mountains to coasts. Ports stitch coasts to far markets. Bronze is the contract clause that says, keep talking or lose your edge. Picture the chain. A miner drives a wedge into green-veined rock. A smelter rakes charcoal and judges the draft by the way a flame's tongue curls. A merchant sniffs an ingot and pretends to choose by smell while his interpreter watches the scale. At a distant workshop, a caster taps a mold and listens for the right ring. Episode 1 gave you weights and seals. Here those seals police purity. A diluted tin mix cheats a downstream fighter. A sloppy anneal cheats a mason. Trust travels as a stamp, a ring mark, a recognizable ingot shape that says, we. Anatolia becomes a laboratory because proximity to copper and pinch points for tin focus attention. Bellows evolve from lung power to bag and nozzle. Tuyères shape airflow. Slag piles become anyone can heat metal. Not everyone can make bronze predictable. Where predictability rises, workshops multiply. Where workshops multiply, technique survives politics. That is metallurgy's quiet revolution. Knowledge embeds in tools and habits that outlive dynasties. Press like if you prefer durable knowledge to royal slogans. Subscribe if you want to watch this durability jump borders in episode 4, when we test how ideas move without shared words. A donkey train leaves a high valley with tin the color of dull moonlight. It trades hands twice in step shadow, picks up copper near a smelter town that stinks of success, then drops south to a port. A coastal founder melts, blends, and casts the alloy into oxide plates that stack like cookies, each plate a standardized unit that fits a back or a boat. Across the sea, a dock foreman counts plates by feel, not sight, because his palms know honest mass. He sends half to a blade maker and half to a mason S-yard that needs chisels for a temple that promises the sky in stone. In that chain, you see why empires stabilize when supply chains do. Reliability lowers the cost of ambition. Bronze upgrades more than weapons. Agricultural tools sharpen. Carpentry behaves. And fasteners hold longer so boats trust their seams. Those second-order gains are the real growth. A city that cuts wood cleaner builds docks faster and straighter. A farmer whose plow teeth last the season irrigates less mud and more soil. Gains compound because tools help make better tools. Metallurgy is civilization's flywheel. If compounding competence makes you nod, subscribe. We carry this compounding into episode 5, when we map how tool-enabled migration and trade redraw human neighborhoods. Failure also instructs. Smelt too cold and copper sulks. Blow too hot and tin burns off. Add arsenic by mistake and you earn headaches and a short career. Communities that survive the learning curve develop safety rituals disguised as taboos. Vent the furnace this way. Quench at that sound. Do not drink from this bucket. Standardization sneaks in as piety. In the Indus, weights turned honesty into furniture. In metallurgy, fixtures and repeated angles turn caution into muscle memory. The result is a workshop that enforces good practice without speeches. Trade routes learn to hedge. Because tin is fickle, merchants diversify. One caravan from the interior, one from a coastward spur, one arranged through a marriage to a clan that owns a pass. Because storms exist, ports pair overland and sea options. Because states tax, smugglers innovate. Bronze's geography teaches redundancy. You saw redundancy in Episode 2's calendars. You'll see it again when language fails and people lean on numbers, tokens, and gestures to seal a deal. Weapons matter, so say it plain. Better spearheads change morale first and outcomes second. The first army in a region with repeatable bronze kit wins a few clean fights and teaches neighbors the price of delay. Then equilibrium returns as others copy or buy the trick. Bronze does not create permanent supremacy. It accelerates arms races and pushes logistics to the fore. The winner is the one who can replace 6,000 ordinary spearheads twice in a campaign. That is why Episode 1 obsessed over weights, and Episode 3 obsesses over smelting yields. Logistics is not glamorous, it is decisive. Culture wraps the furnace. Myths grow around smiths because they make transformation visible. Dirt becomes edge, smoke becomes order. In many traditions, the smith is liminal, half priest, half engineer. That social respect encodes a civic truth. When a city invests in foundries, it is investing in memory. Molds fix shapes across time. Recipes fix ratios across apprenticeships. Indus seals tried to fix identity across distance. Egyptian axes fixed meaning in stone across centuries. The furnace fixes utility across generations by teaching heat to obey. Bronze takes scarcity, geometry, and fire, then outputs predictability. That predictability lets people plan campaigns, harvests, buildings, and pilgrimages with less waste. In networks where tin is rare, information becomes precious. Who knows a new seam? Who adulterates? Who guarantees? Those questions breed record-keeping, signals of trust, and specialist middlemen. That is our bridge to Episode 4. How do networks talk when they lack a shared tongue? If you want that answer delivered on schedule, like the video and subscribe. Consider it fueling the bellows that keep this series at heat. We end by flipping the smith's metaphor. You are the bellows, your attention is air. With enough steady flow, raw material becomes story you can use. If this alloy of trade, geology, and heat made sense, tap like. If you want the language episode to pour clean, subscribe to Indus Lens. Link in bio for maps, source lists, and a glossary that won't burn your eyebrows.